At the outset, may I recognize the distinguished chairman of IIT Jodhpur, Mr. Chidambaram, the Honorable Secretary to Prime Minister, Shri B.K. Mishra, the Director of IIT Jodhpur, Elets Singh of Jodhpur, my brother-in-law, distinguished faculty members, students and alumni who have joined today's conference through this web link. Harish Bharati, who has spoken very pithily, spoken with great feeling, is indeed one of the prime movers of NEP 2020. If anybody singularly should take the credit at the working levels for NEP 2020, which in many ways is a transformational one, which the Prime Minister has recognized yesterday, Amit has huge contribution to make. It was indeed, he was part of the cadre of the cadre before its separation, and I knew his talents even at that time. It is indeed my privilege to address this gathering on the foundation day of IIT Jodhpur. This event has had a certain history. Both the Principal Secretary and I were scheduled to speak at this illustrious forum many months ago. The COVID-19 interrupted all that, but both of us wanted to adhere to this past commitment. I'm indeed, therefore, today very grateful that the Principal Secretary, notwithstanding his multifarious and challenging responsibilities, has kept up with this old promise. Since we are talking of transformational technology, Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, about whom we read every day, had said, and I quote, "There is no alternative to digital transformation. Visionary companies will carve out a new strategic option for themselves. Those that don't adapt will fall apart," unquote. As Amit Khare has rightly said, there could not have been a better time or a context for today's Foundation Day lecture. This is for two reasons which he correctly pointed out. First, the far-reaching changes announced recently by the government in the new Education Policy 2020. This has come after a lapse of 34 years. If implemented in letter and spirit, and given its emphasis on foundational numeracy, on preschool education, and with the flexibility in the pursuit of higher education, it will truly have a transformative impact on our society. Second, this pandemic has challenged and changed us forever. There can only be technological solutions, both to the consequences and the management of the pandemic. Many of these, I must confess, have been highlighted in the amazing work being done by IIT, both themselves and through collaborative ventures with other initiatives from other eminent institutions and from private sector. Today, I want to take this opportunity to discuss the role of technology in reshaping and resetting the context of what I call the new social contract. It was in 1972 that Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote the social contract, in which he had famously written, "Man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains." Rousseau believed that the only legitimate governance rubric is the one consented by all the people by entering into a social contract for the purposes of their mutual preservation. The concept of the social contract was further refined thereafter in the works of Thomas Hobbes and John Locke. Locke believed in self-preservation, and and man's most intimate instincts, whereas Hobbes had earlier believed in a different scenario, with Locke paying emphasis on the separation of power in the division of the state into legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Basically, the purpose of the social contract is to define the relationship between the citizens and the state. The governance structure elected by the consent of the people and in the free choice exercised in democratic elected governments underpin this rubric. This pandemic compels us to revisit this social contract in many fundamental ways. The need to rewrite the social contract in the context of the current pandemic has undoubtedly gripped the attention of many academicians and policymakers all over the world. The driving force behind all this is, of course, technology. Technology. In an article published in the Irish Examiner, Manoj Safiq, a good friend of P.K. Mishra, was a former director of the governor of the Bank of England, deputy managing director of the IMF, and currently director of the London School of Economics, expressed the need to rewrite the social contract. Shafiq has looked at it from multiple points of view, like issues of gender parity, the intergenerational choice between draft, on limited environmental resources in a manner which balances this access to future generations, an insurance guaranteed framework, a social security system which is more robust, more definite principles on rising levels of frustration, inequalities of income and wealth, guarantees for access to healthcare facilities, quality of opportunities and employment, educational structures equal to adaptation in changing pedagogy and skills which will be relevant to jobs of tomorrow. Similarly, of this year's World Economic Forum, called the Great Reset, Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, also authored a book with Thierry Madden, co-founder of the Monthly Barometer, by the name of the Reset. In it, the principles of build a better world both with our theme of our from encouraging greener business. The report indeed is a that if businesses prioritize their nature, there could be 395 million jobs globally. I today therefore focus on 7 areas in which technology can have a lasting impact in shaping human behavior, which is relevant to the new approach on social contract. This is relevant to us in multiple ways. First is the area and the issue of intergenerational choice on energy patterns. Climate change represents an intergenerational choice in the social contract. Recent years have seen massive global protests by young people against economic models which do not account for the present environment. How much right, for instance, does the present generation have in terms of foreclosing the ozone layer? And how much space do we want to use for the present generation for our economic activities? This includes issues of burden sharing, the old sinners versus the new sinners. There is need for greater investment in renewable technologies and in terms of businesses where fossil fuel imprint is significantly lower. Technology solutions and changes are central. Issues of carbon sequestration, lowering fossil fuel imprint, lasting and affordable cost of renewable energy, and readapting activity patterns are part of the same dynamics. Second, so digital technology in harnessing is one of our leading experts on agriculture economics. So I'm delighted that he is here. Digital agriculture is a phenomenon in which technology is used to collect and analyze information along the agricultural value chain. It encompasses a wide range of technologies, some of which, of course, have been highlighted in the presentation, such as the use of artificial intelligence, 5G, the Internet of Things, precision agricultural technologies, including sensors, tracking systems, advanced imaging technologies, and automated machinery. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has stated, and I quote, "A digital agricultural revolution will be the newer shift which could help agriculture meet the needs of the global population in the future." The Indian Council of Agricultural Research is doing fundamental work in digital agriculture, but there is need to restructure their activity in the light of the current thinking and in the light of the problems of the pandemic, and to grasp the nascent opportunities which digital technology now increasingly affords. Third is the area of health. The pandemic has exposed clearly several fault lines in our public healthcare system. In 2018-19, public healthcare expenditure on India was just 0.96% of GDP. This is one of the lowest among peer group countries. Out of this, 70% of expenditure on health is spent by states, while only 0.3% is spent by the union government. It has become increasingly evident in the current pandemic, the investment on health is just not social sector spending, but a greater investment in India's economic growth. Technology can help us. E-learning, electronic medical records, electronic systems for disease surveillance, radiological assessments and readings, and laboratory, pharmacy information, which can significantly reduce inefficiencies and lack of resources in healthcare. Fourth, in the area of education. Some of these have been dramatically brought out by the presentation. And I'm looking forward to hearing Dr. P.K. Mishra, who has really enabled this new education policy to see the light of day today. But basic thing is of improving outcomes at different current levels. The emphasis really, therefore, continues to be fostering innovation and in fresh thinking, both at the primary level and secondary level. At higher levels, for instance, offering credit banks, enlarging the choice of curricula, demolishing artificial compartmentalization between different disciplines, pursuing flexible modes of pedagogy, had in the past stymied the ability of students. There is an enhanced focus on technology in the new education policy, such as the creation of an autonomous body called the National Education Technology Forum, which will be a platform for free exchange of ideas and the use of technology. Social distancing has also become necessary, given that it has enhanced the need for greater investment in both online and offline teaching methods, on online and digital education. There is no doubt that over the coming years, there will be need to have a creative mix or a hybrid between online and offline education. And that once again, technology must determine this optimum mix of the hybrid. Fifth, in the area of redefining the fiscal architecture of the Indian governance matrix, the Finance Commission, which I have currently chaired, underpins our. But over the past 70 years, we have not seriously focused on the outcomes of public outlays. The role of technology in improving assessments and outcomes of public outlay are fundamental. This is catalytic. This transcends the issue of center and the states. Several areas in the Constitution are aimed at technology and technology options, which can reshape the artificial distinctions between the center and the state, between the 7th schedule of the Constitution and the use of Article 282 of the Constitution. Improved assessments of outcomes from public intervention will have a far-reaching impact on the governance rubric of the country. It can transform the fiscal architecture in multiple ways. Technology, again, holds the key. Sixth, in managing geopolitics. India's reliance on imported defense equipment continues to be unexceptionally high. This has stymied the development of high-quality Indian research. Digital technology can play a more significant role in the modernization of the Indian Armed Forces. Though the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, in conjunction with the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, the CSIR, and other private sector, must increasingly look into production of equipment needed for our defense, the domestic, harnessing creativity and innovation, like many other things which other countries have done, have a multiplier gains. I have sometimes thought that if somebody is sitting in the remote desert of California, thousands of miles away, can pinpoint a missile to kill an important target, thousands of miles away, by the use of drone, digital technology, and remote sensor, this is a pointer where technology is leading us. Futuristic drones increasingly using artificial intelligence and 5D technology will only advance the frontiers of possibility. We must explore the increasing role of technology in the area of fundamental research in modernizing, managing our defense forces. Managing geopolitics is critically dependent on our defense capabilities. Technology, again, will prove decisive. Finally, is the issue of India's growth potential. In seeking to achieve our growth potential of at least 7 to 8%, if not more, there are two core issues here, namely, the improving our total factor productivity, reducing the incremental capital output ratio. What can technology do to make capital more productive, for instance, which will be reflected in an improved ICO, which is currently only between 4.5 to 5. Technology coupled with many significant reforms which have already been initiated recently by this government has many other multiplier effects, for instance, which I mentioned, in health, education, infrastructure, and this can make a decisive difference. If we wish to become an important global player, we obviously have to grow much faster in the next 10 years than we did in the past. Only technology solutions are capable of realizing the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the quest of our Prime Minister, and a quest which the entire country shares as the vision which must prompt the future. Rousseau had said, and I quote, "To renounce liberty is to renounce being a man, to surrender the rights of humanity and even its duties," I unquote. I see that the old contract needs a metamorphosis. The new chapter of a new social contract is technology. The power of the pandemic has unleashed the power of the unknown. Technology can help the unknown to become less unknown if it unleashes far-reaching changes in some areas, some of which I've had the privilege to comment on. To reiterate the theme of this year's World Economic Forum, we need a great reset. Klaus Schwab had said, COVID-19 is affecting every facet of our life, in every corner of the world. We need to move forward and push the reset button on the social contract. I have no doubt that this premier institution, in reprioritizing its research, will look to the cutting edge of what technology has to offer. Our Prime Minister has articulated that the vision of India is dependent on the vision of becoming an innovation society. The new educational policy has given a massive thrust to this process. Thomas Edison had said that the value of an idea lies in using it. We must utilize this knowledge, not only in terms of the past, but what we learn from it, but the knowledge to explore the mind, which knows no boundaries. We need to combine innovation and imagination. This, coupled with the other changes, can rewrite the social contract. It can indeed reset the button. Technology will have a decisive role. An institution of this kind, like IIT Jodhpur, is well poised to become both a player and a catalyst. It is the expectation from IIT's this IIT as a center of technological excellence, that this is what we will hope and seek. On this Foundation Day, this vision could prompt the faculty, young researchers, the students in seeking what this institution can offer in these pandemic times. I thank you very much for the honor and privilege you have given me, chief guest on this occasion, and I look forward to the far-reaching Foundational Day address by one of our most, not only our eminent civil servants, but not many know that Dr. P.K. Mishra, eminent economist, work in economics and understanding of complex economic models, would leave even the more professional practitioners some in awe of what he knows. So thank you very much once again for this opportunity you have given me to share some of my ideas with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful words and showing us way forward. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I request all our online viewers to put their questions for today's lectures and addresses in the comment box. On this Foundation Day, we also take this opportunity to release the first issue of TechScape, the science and education magazine of IIT Jodhpur, in the august presence of our eminent guest. The first issue of TechScape, IIT Jodhpur, covers articles, research snippets, and exciting science and technology frontiers of the institute. Here is the short trailer.